Marvel Studios now make the most profitable films ever released. But before Iron Man, they were not so successful. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the comic book industry was booming. With the release of the newest comic book movie, Batman, and some very old and very expensive comics being sold, many people, hoping to make money in the future, started buying and collecting comics. In the 1990s, people were often buying 2 copies of the same comic, one to read and another to save and sell later, hopefully for a profit. Marvel saw this as an opportunity, and they started to make more money by selling limited edition comics. They used other techniques, such as having multiple covers for the same issue, or including trading cards and other gifts. This meant people would buy more comics and earn the comic book makers more money. This bubble-like business model could only succeed if it continued to grow, but eventually it popped and the comic book industry suffered. Sales, share prices, and the value of Marvel all dropped very suddenly. Marvel was in big financial trouble, so they sold off the rights to some of their better known characters and franchises to stay in business. This meant other film companies could make films using their characters and would not need to share the profits with Marvel. Blade and X-Men were both based on Marvel characters and were very successful films. But Marvel saw very little of the profits because they had already sold the rights of these characters. After seeing the success of other comic book films, Marvel collected enough money to make 10 of their own films. From these movies, they could keep all of the profits. Their plan was to connect the narrative of all these films, similar to the comic books they were making. They started with Iron Man and worked towards the Avengers. It was a very risky strategy, but their plan was a huge success.